Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on the Live Fearlessly video podcast series. We are joined today with Nicole Majik, which is amazing because Nicole was one of my first 10. I can't remember the exact one, but one of my very first guests on this series, and super honored that she was like, yes, I would love to come back and chat with you more. And she's all about free flow conversations and high energy. She's amazing to be around. Nicole, thank you for joining us again. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. This is
Yeah,
exciting.
you're welcome. Yay. So go ahead and tell us, where are you located?
I'm located in Lincoln, Rhode Island.
Okay, so um tell us something good. I always want to start everything out with a celebration. Quantum physics tells us we go in a direction for 17 seconds or more, and we're going to continue to go that way. So, Nicole, lay some goodness on us.
Oh my goodness. I did some rebranding. I just launched a new company as well this
Woo!
week. And there's just so many things that is happening. Everything is a celebration right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, I love that I'm surrounded by people that look for the good in all of the things, right? Because there's COVID, there's pandemic, there's just everyday shit that's in the way all the time. And this is exactly why I love Nicole and the people that I surround myself with, you guys, is because we have to really be conscious of the incubators that we are in and the people that we surround ourselves with, because the itty bitty shitty committees that we hear from everyone else, they do stack up and they matter. So I love that everyone's like, there's always something good. There's always good happening in all the situations. So I love that. And congratulations on launching a new company. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Growth is always good. We will always celebrate growth here.
Always good.
I love it. So to give you guys a little backstory also. So I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Nicole in person after we did our first interview. So we got connected through, I believe, Polka Dot Powerhouse.
Yes.
And that's how we got connected for the podcast first. And then from there, like, I fell in love with Nicole's energy. Then she came to speak locally here for my Polka Dot chapter, and then in central Wisconsin. And you also came to an event with me in the Wisconsin Dells. We went to the Warrior Unchained live event. So Nicole got to see me speak. So that's cool. I just realized that. She came and spoke, and then she came and watched me speak, which is super fun. So that's how we got connected, right? You guys know I'm all about connection and really like knowing people on a deeper level. So to give you a little background, like, I literally went from knowing Nicole through a screen and connections to actually connecting in person. She came to my house. She stayed in this room, like, so super, super fun. So, Nicole, I'm really excited that you're here and that you are part of my circle of supporters and people, and likewise to you. So, and I got to just comment on your fierce shirt over there. Is that snakeskin?
It is. My stylist picked this out.
I need a stylist. That's amazing.
Yes.
That is amazing. I
That's
love
my
it.
style
So,
Sherpa Galen Apt. Yay.
what was that?
I said that's my style. My stylist is my style Sherpa Galen Apt.
Oh, nice. There you go. Shout out.
Little plug.
I love, yes, shameless. It's good. I love it. All about the connection. So there you go.
Yes.
So, Nicole, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, right? So anyone that maybe hasn't yet watched your first episode with me, I will link that in the comments for them to catch up. But just to like quick synopsis is that we talked about your near-death experience with mercury poisoning and having Mad Hatter syndrome, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure I said that right. And so I'll put that in below for you guys to really go listen to her story and like hear in depth from there. But just to give you guys some baseline of like, she had a near-death experience and we connected about her moving through fear and having the tools and creating programs and really wanting to empower the masses of people. And she's all about coming together with love and really knowing that it starts with acceptance. I love that that was something that I pulled through with your interview, is that acceptance piece. And as someone that is very much an inclusive kind of person, that really resonated with my heart about Nicole. So Nicole, fast forwarding to now, right? I gave him a little background of how we met and that we've met in person. So from like then to now, I mean, I know it feels like light years with 2020, but go ahead and tell us a little bit about you from there.
Okay, so I'll back up a little bit just because I think in the last time I talked some about me, and I probably mentioned I was a chemist because I was talking about the mercury poisoning, and that's where, things kind of came through. And then when I left there, I had become a financial advisor. And all the while through that chemistry and up until now, for the last 13 years, I've had my own business. And it has evolved so many times. We grow and we just let our lives unfold. And I followed my intuition, I followed my heart, and everything just, it's like you take a step out and you trust in yourself and you trust in the universe, and the floor comes up to meet your feet every single time. If you can walk in that, it's amazing. So between when we talked last, my business was growing. I was a financial advisor by that point, and I did that for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And it wasn't my truth. It wasn't my passion and purpose. It was the stepping stone, right? Because we have stepping stones all throughout our lives. And really what ended up happening is it gave me what I needed. And it also helped me learn about myself so much. And in that time, I had so much stuff that happened, Rebecca. Oh my gosh. We had my son, who became addicted to hardcore drugs, was in and out. He went in and out of rehab. Then he went homeless on the streets, Boston. Then he was in New York. Died a couple times. While I was going through that, I was going through a divorce.
He died a couple times?
Yeah, he died, came back. They brought him back a couple times.
Oh my God.
He's doing well now.
Good.
So he's got some things that he has to tend to, and consequences of his actions, and he is taking it like a champ. So he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he's doing really well. So as a mom, that was really hard to surrender that, because there was so much stuff that was going on. And with my business growing, going through the divorce, my kid going through this stuff, obviously it affects the other kids because I have 4. We had 4 together. And just being in this space of having to evaluate my job and my business, as my business grew, I had this entire year was booked with events. Last year, I spoke in front of over 300 people at an event. So inspiring. And then to get love notes afterwards to say, that I inspired them. When I decided to leave my job and pursue just my business because it was at that pinnacle point, I stopped having the nightmares that I had been having for the last 4 or 5 years, every night, the same dream every night. It was like, where is this coming from? It just kept getting longer. Like I would just get a bit. I'd wake up like screaming. When I decided no more with the job and had an exit strategy out, no more nightmares, no more fear. I went from being in a really great mindset to dropping the one big fear that I had. And it felt so good because I was sitting there doing bills. Usually when the kids would watch me do bills, they'd scatter. Mom's paying bills. Go away, hide. Everybody hide, because I used to get angry. And it was the funniest thing because I started remembering that was like years ago. I didn't do that like for the last couple of years, but when I was sitting there paying bills, when everything got canceled because of COVID. So I just quit my job, and then every event that I had my entire year booked, every event canceled. Big ones, big
Yeah.
high.
And you were supposed to be back in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I was asked to speak at the Warrior Unchained. So it was this funny space. And I said, oh, well, I get to reset. Okay. And I had just moved twice. So in all that stuff, I had to move to a temporary space, pack my entire house up by myself, move to a permanent or a more permanent temporary space, I'll say, because I'm in an apartment now with my kids. But wow, it was just this space of me really honing in on this is who I am, and really loving who I am, because I didn't look at anything as this negative thing. I always say that these things that happen to us, they're seemingly negative because
Mm.
there's always a lesson and an opportunity, and a redirection is really what it is. And when
Yeah.
we can see it as that redirection to show us that you're not in alignment with where you're supposed to be. And
Yeah.
when we ask what is in alignment, now anything that shows up that's out of alignment, like I'm shaken to my core, and I can't just say yes to somebody to be nice. That's a
Yeah.
big thing, right? And I can say no about things, or I can say I'm sorry, but that's not that doesn't match up with what my purpose is.
Well, that makes me really, really happy that you're here with me today and that you said yes to me, because that means that we're in alignment somehow still. So that's amazing.
Yes, we are, girlfriend.
I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna just break this down a little bit. So I'm taking notes. You guys see me looking down. I'm totally a note taker. And because my mind is always like listening to the story, if I find something, I have to write it down real quick so I can get back to paying attention, or it stays there too long. So you said that you realized that was your biggest fear, right? Like leaving that job and making that decision. So can you pinpoint, like, what was that fear with that?
Right. So I was leaving a six-figure job, high six-figure job.
And this is the
And
financial.
that was the financial piece. Yes.
Okay.
And so this is what the thought process that went through my head. So
Yeah.
it's more like this, right? Because this is what I've always wanted to do, is just do what I'm supposed to with my business. And when it came down to it, when I analyzed everything, because of the divorce and my business booming and all the things that were happening all at once, I was basically, I had to hold back, and I had to just maintain the clients that I had. So I wasn't bringing on new clients. So that made my numbers go far down.
Right.
Okay. Because of the time. If I had to dedicate time to pack up my house, every time that we have to choose to do something, every time we choose to do something different than what's already happening, something has to be sacrificed, right? We shift things. I wasn't a big TV watcher in the first place, so it's not like I could just sacrifice boob
Right.
tube time.
Right.
So I had to shift different things, and I had to kind of pare back my work and live off of what I had, and just maintain the clients that I had. So when I reviewed everything as my business grew, I was like, wow, I have all these events. It could be a good transition right now, because if I was going to start back and pay attention to the job, then I would have to start all over, brand new pipeline, all the new work, 6 month plus lead time on a lot of clients. So, or I could continue on and amp up my business if I devoted 40 plus hours a week to my own business, I would have the same income that I had in the job. I'm like, okay, so when I analyzed it, I looked at the job. Well, I know there's a certain level of security there. I know I'm really good at what I do. There's a system. There are processes. And when I looked at that, I was like, okay, that, and then all it is dedicating X amount of time to do this, then that, then this, then that. When I looked at my business, I said, it's the same thing. I'm really good at what I do. I have a system and a process.
Yeah.
And guess what? When I have the time devoted to doing this and then that, and then this and then that, it flows. And a bonus, I absolutely love what I do. And the reward is seeing the transformation and impact that I have on other people to guide them into their truth, their passion, and their purpose, and love their life and become fearless and be fearlessly authentic. Wow, that's awesome. I don't have to listen to people bitch about their money all day.
Right.
Right?
It's amazing how you said this earlier, right? Like that wasn't your purpose. And when we know our purpose, and you will know it. So when you're listening and you're like, these girls are, it's easy for them to say, like, know your purpose and all of that, but realize this is a whole timeline that we're taking you through. This is not just she woke up from that bad dream and she knew her purpose and it's all magic and we're all done, right? Magic. um is, like realize that we're talking about a process. I'm literally like making a timeline. You said it wasn't your purpose, and then you reevaluated, right? Like start asking the question so that the truth can unfold and you can find your truth and what aligns with your heart and your instincts and the things that, it's funny because I've realized through 2020 that it's very much usually the spaces that are easy to us, right? It's easy to do this, like showing up for your clients and helping them feel that for their life. It feels easy because you're in alignment with your purpose and because that is your truth. And it really is that, thinking about the stupid easy button, right? That is actually the truth. Like life can be that easy when we are living in alignment with our purpose. And that goes with the focus, right? The focus that Nicole is talking about, and being able to reset and redirect when it's not in the right focus that is meant for you.
Right.
I love it. I love it. So Nicole, you said these really great things about like your passion for helping people. So what exactly is it that you do?
Well, what I do is I help people solve the big problems that they have, whether it's financial. So a lot of times we have these roadblocks that come before us and they're financial. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough clients.
So you
Right.
do still work with finances, but it's for your ideal dream clients that,
I
you
don't
can
do
probably kindly tell them to stop it and do something else.
right. I help people in a different way financially, in the sense where I help them uncover how to gain those finances, how to manifest that money instead of stocks and bonds.
Okay, so that's the
Yeah.
kind of financial stuff that you were doing before. Okay, so that so literally you're doing more intuitive work to like help the person.
Right. Because here's the deal is actually, I'm going to go back to a little bit of what you said, because earlier
Yeah.
I just recorded one of my Tea Time Tuesdays to get loaded up. And it was about something that hit me when I was getting ready this morning is I heard somebody say, you have to work really hard. And it reminded me of growing up. Like my dad always said, you have to, if you want something done right, do it yourself. If you want things in life, you have to work really hard to get them. And all
Right.
these idioms and proverbs came up in my head. And I was like, whoa, like work your fingers to the bone and no
Mm.
pain, no gain. And that's not how life has to be. You don't have to work hard. You just have to work.
You don't have
And
to hustle. You can flow.
yes, you don't have to work hard. You just have to work. And that does not go hand in hand with suffering.
Yeah.
Right. And if people can just identify that, that's what I help you get into, is that space. I help you overcome the fears that you have that hold you back from doing all these things. We have these subconscious pieces in our mind that tell us that you can't, you're not worthy. Somebody else has to do that. You don't deserve it. Ah, I shoot that thing right down dead. And then I
I,
bury it somewhere outside of you. And,
uh,
you know,
then she's going to plant it and it's going to regrow.
yeah, and then you're gonna have fruits instead of
Yes.
just like this barren wasteland.
The fruits of your
So,
labor.
right? And it's like we just need to look at things in a different way. Here's the deal is 87% of what we hear, think, and say is negative. And
Mm.
greater than 95% of what we do is subconscious. And the subconscious is 1,000 times more powerful than the conscious. So whenever we make a conscious effort to change something, subconscious comes in and overpowers and says, no, just sit down and do nothing.
Mm.
And when we realize what the process is to overcome that and make it an easy thing to do, it's having that awareness and following the process. I have a very specific process that I help people follow through on and hold them accountable and guide them through and coach them through. And my clients say that my techniques are so easy. We always try to complicate things. And I always say, stop making it so complicated. This is easy and do this. And I get in your head. I'll tell you, you're going to hear me when we work on something specific. You're going to hear me in your head, like the little angel and devil that come up. You're going to hear Nicole. You're going to hear Ms. Magic in there saying, now, why don't we look at this a different way?
Let's reframe.
Right.
I love it. I love it. So that's how she can be supporting, right? That's how Nicole is, I want to just say magic now. That's how Nicole is able to support you guys and realizing that. Nicole, where is the best place for the viewers to connect with you?
They can connect with me through my website or through Facebook and LLC.com, or on Facebook, it's Magic LLC. And that's spelled MAJIK, like my name.
Magic. Yes,
And
I
it's
love it.
really, it's not just finances, it's everything in life where, if it's, that financial flow and manifesting, or if it's communication and relationships, there's a whole element there of really my process works with all kinds of different problems. I've had clients say that they've really gotten grounded in that peace of mind, knowing that they now have the clarity and focus to move forward because they've found their purpose. They've found their desire. They understand their why. It's really
Amazing.
amazing.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. I love it. So something that I remember from our first interview was like the dream cast of like 5 years from today. And you were like, I have this vision of bringing people together of all races, all ages, and like it was all anchored in acceptance. It was all anchored in love and bringing people together. And that was like, I don't know, 2 years ago now? Was it, oh, like it was 2 years ago because you were one of my very first people. So just wondering, like, is that still on the forefront of a vision for you in the next couple of years? Are you still working on that? Or how has that transformed and shifted or hasn't for you?
I have acknowledged that vision, and sometimes I have these visions and I've had visions that have unfolded 5 and 10 years later.
Okay.
And I'm seeing this as it's this pull of all these different influencers So it's me talking to a group of influencers that have the reach, because I can't do it by myself, first
We're
of all.
stronger
And
together.
right. And I feel like me focusing on my business is that first step, because I get to create my own schedule. I get to create where I go when we can meet in public again all over the place and have
Get
big
hugs.
gatherings. I know, and hug people. I've been giving virtual hugs all across the nation. So from
Yeah.
here to California. And I think that that will unfold, because that's always in the back of my mind, and how I treat people, and no judgment zone. Like, here's the deal, guys, is when you really know who you are at that level, and this kind of sums up what I do with people, is I help you understand who you really are, no labels. And when you understand who you are and you walk in that divine truth, it is so powerful that it overcomes everything. And you understand everybody else around you, and nobody can pass judgment on you. I mean, technically they could, because that's their stuff, but the judgment does not affect you. You're not affected by that, because you know where it's coming from, and you have no judgment on others, even if they have judgment on you. It totally changes your world. It totally changes how you see everything. And then nothing nothing is negative anymore.
So for the viewers that are listening and they're like, okay, well, how do I start to figure out who I am? What is something practical, like a tool or something that you've found, or some kind of advice maybe that you would give the viewers to take and just get the ball rolling? Because if there's one thing about me that everyone needs to know, is that I'm all about taking action. So yes, listening and absorbing this, but then we need to make a move and actually do something with the information. So Nicole, if you had something to share for advice or a next move, what would that be?
Sit down in a quiet place with a blank sheet of paper. And there's so many different things that you could do. So I feel like there are different people that would gravitate towards something over something else. So I'll toss out a few things.
Okay.
When you sit down and you're quiet, write down what it is that goes through your head. All of it. Whatever pops up first. Oh, I need to do the laundry. Why am I sitting here? I have so many things to do. What are those things? Follow your thoughts and list them out, and then look at them and tell me what you think of them, because that's your life. If it looks like it's a mess, it's okay that it's a mess, because now you have an awareness of what is going on. So when we start being conscious about what is happening in our lives, we can then start tweaking it to propagate something else. Another thing I do with people is, what is it that you want? If you have that blank piece of paper, the first things that are going to come up are what you don't want. Write those down. And then figure out what you do want, because writing down what you do want is so much harder initially, because it's a process where we're wired to think negatively, right? What I said earlier. And if we're wired to think negatively, well, we need to rewire to think positively. And a lot of people, they sit there. I have these empowerment sessions there. It's this empower package where it's 90 minutes. And the transformation that happens within that is phenomenal, where we'll define your desire or whatever else you want to work on. But here's an example. Define your desire. And I have a process to take you through that. But when it's almost like it hurts your head for a little while, because people want to say, well, I don't want this, I don't want that. Well, what do
Mhm.
you want? What do you want? And then I help and guide people to really figure that out, and then discover, down to the point where what is going to shift so that you can get that.
Mhm.
And then I show them how to write a magical manifestation script. I have like this whole workshop that I do, but that first thing that's the biggest is defining your desire. So getting down to that is utmost importance of understanding what it is that you want, so then you can magnetize it to you. If you don't know what you want, guess what? You're not going to get it,
Mhm.
because you're not going to get anything because you don't
Right.
know what you want.
Yeah.
If you go to the store and you can't decide between two things on a shelf and you walk out, you didn't buy anything.
Mhm. I love
And
it.
that's how people live their lives.
What I heard was we need to become aware, right? We need to literally become aware of what we want to shift, what we want to change and improve on, whatever that is for you. So first is awareness, build the awareness. And then the second part that I heard was acceptance, like accepting that this is the real shit on this piece of paper. This is real life, because we have to know our truth to get a starting point, to have a clear vision. I talk about this in my Connect with Your Vision masterminds that I do, and we're Tasmanian devils. We're in our own tornado and we can't see through our dust cloud until we make a decision, so we know where our GPS is going, where our direction is. We have to, clear the path and become aware and accept it, and then move from there. So that's what I heard from what you were just saying. And then building an action plan to just like start the process in the transformation of shifting out of that. So I love it. I'm definitely a pen to paper kind of person. So very practical steps, guys, very practical steps to get started. I love it. Nicole, thank you so much. This is so fun. I love being able to have free flow conversations and hear what you're saying and then just kind of going from there. So this was great. Thank you so much for joining us. And is there anything that you would like to leave the viewers with before we go?
I don't know. I just feel like the viewers that are here, you've gained something, consciously or subconsciously. And just go with that. Tap into yourself and figure out who you are and just walk in that, because there's no one else out there that can damage you unless you give that power up.
Mm.
And that might be a weird statement, but it's true. It's so true, because if we're walking in our truth, you are always going to be led to the right places.
Mm-hmm. And not even if, it's when, right? When you walk in that, because we can all find it. If you are someone that's like, I don't know where to go, I don't know where to find it, you can. So first of all, just know and hold the belief, or borrow our belief that you can find it. We found it, you can find it too. And start from there, and then do these steps, right? Like, so borrow belief, get the, I don't think that's true, I don't think it can work for me, all of those negative beliefs, just stop right there and move from the place of the tools that Nicole was just saying to serve you. So I love it. Thank you, Nicole. That was great. Everyone that's watching, remember to love yourself and live fearlessly, and go connect with Nicole. Check out her website, find her on Facebook, and make it a great day, everyone. Thanks, Nicole.